Hello and welcome to another semester of Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and thanks for tuning in. On today's show, we'll update you on Bulldog Hockey along with men's and women's basketball as all three teams in action this past weekend. We'll start, though, first with Bulldog Hockey and joined by the head coach of the Bulldogs, Bob Daniels. Coach, welcome to the show.
Good to be here, Rob. Thank you.
I know since the last time we talked with you back last fall, it's certainly changed, and it's nice to have your team back on the ice and being able to play games here for the past month or so.
It really has. I'm surprised it's been that long since, but you're right that it has been since November that we chatted. But no, it's been in that time period. We've played quite a few games, had a few cancellations, but for the most part, we're grinding through and getting our schedule and getting games in, and for that, we're really thankful.
Obviously, you're right in the heart of the WCHA schedule now. Had some non-conference games in December, and now into the heart of conference action. What have you learned about your team maybe so far here early on?
Well, I like the team a lot. I think, as I look at our forwards, we're really deep up front, as deep as we've been in a long time. I think scoring, we've been able to put up some goals. I think, and this was to be expected, is we're a little thin on defense in terms of experience, not in terms of talent or numbers, but, of the 10 defensemen, 9 are either freshman or sophomore. So, it's a pretty young group back there, and at times they've showed that. But they've come, they've come a long way in the games we've played, and then in net, we've gotten some really good play from Roni Selman-Kangas, and we got our goaltender back from the World Junior team, Logan Stein, and he's played a couple of games, and so we're looking pretty good in net as well.
Obviously, this past weekend, you took on Trine University, non-conference game, and kind of a schedule change with Michigan Tech having to back out this past weekend. How nice was it to find an opponent to play?
It was great, and we were on our way back on Sunday when we got word. We were on our way back from Huntsville, and when we got word that Michigan Tech was not going to be able to play this weekend, they gave us time. We quickly looked at all the teams that are in our region, and we saw that Trine was off last weekend, Division III team out of Indiana, so made a call to their coach. He said they'd love to play. We scheduled it tentatively, checked with both ADs, and I was really appreciative of trying the efforts they made to come up here and play, though. We were really excited. I think they were excited to play us, and we were excited to have them. It gave us another game. We just try to keep the momentum going as we can.
As we go to some of the highlights of the contest, obviously nice to have some fans, some limited fans back in the building as well.
That was really great to have. It brought really a sense of normalcy. It's great that, when I could talk to the players, and I don't think everybody in the rink can hear it. So, it just was so nice to have them here. And a lot of the parents got a chance to come in and watch us play.
Obviously, got off to a great start, 3 goals we'll see here in this first period, and had a 17-4 advantage in total shots here in the first period.
Yeah, you can see here we're at the halfway mark of the first, just about when we score our first goal. And, when you get that many chances early and you then don't capitalize, you start getting a little bit nervous. And in that time period, Roni was tested a couple times and made a couple big saves. And, he played really well at the beginning of the game, and then they had some opportunities at the end of the game, and he certainly earned the shutout on Saturday night.
Obviously, we saw the first goal from Jake Transit, then Ethan Stewart with a goal, and he's a guy that's been playing well for you.
He has been. Ethan Stewart, I think he had 3 points in the game. He's tied for the lead on our team in scoring. He's playing great both ends of the rink, offensively, defensively. It's really nice to see him have this kind of year, where last year he missed the entire first semester, came back from basically injury, and then played about 6 games and broke his leg and was out the remainder of the year. And for him to come and have this kind of year right now is great. Here, this is a goal by Brendan McLaren. Really, it was good to see him score a goal, and it was quite a shot.
I was going to ask you, how nice was it to have production from a lot of different guys in this game in terms of scoring?
It really was. We only had one player, I think, with 2 goals in the game. Here, this is the player here, Ethan Stewart, that we were just talking about. That's his second goal of the night. But it was nice to see the scoring spread out throughout the lineup.
Obviously, you got the goal scoring here with 6 goals in the first 2 periods, but you also got some good defensive play as well.
We did. I think on the night we gave up maybe 15, 14 shots, maybe less than that even. A couple of them, as I mentioned, though, were grade A chances, and that did test Roni, but for the most part, we were pretty stingy defensively. And in this game, gave a number of our guys a chance to score goals and develop some confidence. I thought Tryon played really hard. They were big, they were strong, they played very physical. You can see here late in the game they get a couple opportunities, and Roney was full marks for the shutout.
You mentioned confidence. How much does that help a young team in terms of gaining confidence with a win like that?
I think it does. I think, you know, they do gain confidence. And I think even though we haven't had the results in conference so far that we've wanted, I think they've gained confidence in how we've played. And we've played pretty darn well. We deserve really a better record than what we have right now. And so I can see the confidence building. Now it's a matter of, you know, continuing to play games and maturing.
Obviously, now you start a long road stretch here for the next couple weeks, back-to-back trips at Minnesota State, one of the top teams in the country, and then at Northern Michigan the following week.
Yeah, both those are going to be tall tasks. Minnesota State's really having a great year, and they're a really good team. You know, depending on which poll you're looking at, but they're a top 4 team in the nation. I'm serving on the NCAA men's championship committee this year, and they're certainly a team that's on the radar to be a selection for the NCAA tournament, and they're gonna give us quite the challenge, and we look forward to it. We're pretty keen on playing them this weekend.
Obviously, with some of the rescheduled games, then you've got a bunch of home games coming up here in the month of February to kind of close out the regular season.
Yeah, we do. We're going to have a couple with Michigan Tech. We'll have Lake Superior State in, Bemidji State. So all good games against good teams. And, you know, it's kind of nice to get back on the road. Maybe we can knock out 4 road games here in the next 2 weeks. And then, you know, pretty much we're at least for conference play, we're back home. We do have a series at Michigan Tech later in February, which is their Winter Carnival, which even though it's non-conference, there'll be a lot in the line there because it is Winter Carnival there.
How have your guys kind of adapted and adjusted here with all the changes here, not only in the schedule, but obviously the practice plans and everything else with COVID-19 going on?
Yeah, there's no such thing as normal in this year. You know, it's day to day. And it's interesting, it's not only our team, but it's the other team too. So, you know, if something were to happen to either team in terms of a player testing positive, it basically shuts both teams down for that weekend. But what I would like to say is how appreciative we are of the efforts the university's making so that we can compete. You know, we test pretty much every morning. There's a lot of people from the pharmacy department that are volunteering their time so we can get those tests in. You know, all the administrators from, you know, Perk and VP Bachmeyer and President Eisler have really gone above and beyond to see that we could have some semblance of a season. So, you know, if at times, you know, you start, you stop, it's just all part of it. And I said when the year started, we've got to be fluid and flexible as it goes on. And I think we've done a pretty good job in doing it. And you just make the most of each day that you're allowed to be on the ice, and we go hard from there.
Well, Coach, thanks for being with us here today. Best of luck this coming weekend, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Great. Thanks, Rob.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast, and that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
That's it. I'm hangry. What is it going to take? A pizza for $5.99? Weekly specials? Online ordering? Actually, that sounds pretty good. I think I know just the place.
Banish your hangry self with Mancino's convenient online ordering. A 14-inch, one-topping pizza for only $5.99. Or try one of our unique weekly specials. And don't forget, Ferris students, you get 10% off. Call, go online, or stop in today.
Want to be a storyteller? The Television and Digital Media Production program at Ferris State University is the create space for you. At Ferris, you will apply creative and technical skills to create stories worth telling. You will be immersed in your learning. You will practice every part of the production process. You will create in state-of-the-art facilities with the latest equipment and software. The TDMP program at Ferris State. Learn to make storytelling your career. Find out more at ferris.edu/TDMP.
Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to talk women's basketball. And with us is head coach Kurt Westendorp. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Obviously, here now as we start the second semester, your team already well into the conference season. Here with a couple weeks behind you, maybe talk about what you've learned from your team so far here early on.
Well, it's just been really nice to get on the court and competing. You know, there's one thing with kind of learning your team in practices and seeing what you might have and actually being on the court and seeing just what are we good at, what are the matchups with our opponents, different things, different places that I can put players on the court where they can have their talent really shine. And I think we've gotten so much better over the course of these first 4 games.
What's it been like for you, obviously coming back to Ferris State and leading the Bulldog program here after being gone for 7 or 8 years? What's it been like being back at Ferris State?
It's been awesome. So I've had a really good little text string going with that 2011-12 team right before we played Ashland, because when we played at Ashland, that was the finish of our season in the NCAA tournament. So it was kind of full circle to start up there again, and just kind of texted that entire team and all the words of encouragement that they were able to send to me and that I was able to then pass along to the current team. You know, we talked about Bulldog pride as something that, you know, you take every time you put that jersey on. So it's something that we're really trying to pass on to these girls right here, and they can feel it from those future generations.
You mentioned Ashland, obviously a tough way to start your tenure here at Ferris State, taking on the number 2 team in the country, but obviously your team went out and competed well that first weekend. Yeah,
I really felt like we had to learn. That opening game, I think that we knew like what they were going to do. We knew the scouting report, but we didn't know exactly what it meant until we got kind of punched in the face a little bit. So I thought from game 1 to game 2, you saw like a whole completely different team on the court. You know, I think we executed a ton better. You know, Ashland has always been a great offensive team. They usually put up a lot of points, but I'll give them a ton of credit for their defense. It was something that was a notch up from what we had even seen ourselves do in practice. So we got better from game 1 to game 2, but it was definitely a great measuring stick for our kids to see, like, okay, this is what it's going to take. You know, this is a team that hadn't lost at the time in like 33 games. So it was really good for us to see like what the standard is for that championship level.
You see some of the highlights here. You kicked off your homestand this past weekend against Wisconsin Parkside, and obviously a couple high-scoring games here starting off here on Friday.
Yeah, definitely high-scoring games. That was a little bit, we kind of figured that might be the case when we were looking at the styles that both teams play. You know, kind of styles make fights is the old boxing phrase, and it really is kind of followed through for the basketball right here. You know, they do it, what we do well on offense, they struggled to guard a little bit, and what they do well on offense, we struggled to guard a little bit. So it was one of those games where you just had to keep your foot on the gas. You just had to keep fighting and keep pressing because you knew that you couldn't go on a big scoring lull. That was, if you went on a scoring lull, the other team was going to pull away.
Obviously, here this past weekend, both games you had the lead at the end of the first quarter, but they had a big second quarter, and then you came back and won the second half in both games.
Yeah, they did a nice job in their second quarter of really, they settled in. We guarded them well at the get-go. Our energy was great. I thought we had a little bit of an energy lull in the second quarter of both games, just especially defensively. We put our heads down a little bit too much, and we kind of forgot what it was that, you know, we were really playing for. That second game, when we came out in the second half, we said that we just wanted to come out and fight. Like, we just needed to fight. We needed to show the pride that we've talked about all the way through. And I would really give our girls a ton of credit because, you know, they were down 14 come out of the half. It's real easy to put your head down, but we did a great job of fighting and scrapping every possession, and getting a 35-point quarter to start the second half really put us right in that game where we believed that we could win.
86-82 on Friday. You came right back on Saturday, and kind of part of the GLIAC schedule here as we see on the highlights, playing the same team again. What's that been like here for the first couple weeks?
I've actually enjoyed it as a coach. Like, it's been a little different. You get done with game 1, and a lot of times you can kind of relax, go home, see the family, and you have a whole completely new opponent that you're already prepared for with 1 day of prep. You know, this is different. You know, you go home, you get dinner, you come back with your assistant coach, and you spend, you know, several hours just poring over, okay, what was there that we didn't see the first time? What adjustments do we have to make? You know, for us, we played almost a completely different style of defense just to try to throw them off of their rhythm. We played a lot more of a matchup zone as opposed to pure man-to-man. You know, offensively, there weren't a whole lot of changes that had to be made, but it's a fun chess match to play as coaches, to kind of have in your back pocket what is next for you, and also at the same time thinking, okay, what do they see from their perspective? What are some things that they might throw at us that they might be able to switch up a little bit? So it's a fun challenge as a coach, and I think as a team, you know, it's also a good challenge that, okay, you can get that bad taste of a loss out of your mouth really quickly and really have to show up and be ready to play. Hopefully this weekend we're on the better better end of the first game so we can kind of experience that, because both these weekends that we've had so far, we've dropped the first one.
Obviously, here on Saturday, you're down at halftime, but your kids, as you mentioned earlier, really stormed back in the second half and competed, led by Caden Blanchard, who had a fantastic game with 39 points.
Yeah, she really settled in and really played the aggressiveness that we need her to play with. So we tried to open up the floor a little bit more, tried to get her some of those matchups. Parkside's a team that like to switch on all the screens, especially the ball screens. So we were able to take advantage of that at times and try to switch some of their weaker defenders onto her where she was able to get downhill. Late in the game, they had a couple kids that were in foul trouble, so we were able to kind of go at them a little bit, so they backed off. So, but I thought Caden did a good job. It wasn't every time she touched it, she didn't shoot it every single time. You know, I feel like she had 7 or 8 assists on the game as well. So like she was taking the good shots for us. She was getting to the free throw line, which was really big for us to be aggressive. And right there, that's a great pass and transition. Finding Mallory McCartney, that was a huge shot for us, you know, as well as being able to get the ball to the basket and get a lot of easy things for us.
You mentioned Mallory McCartney. What's she meant to the team so far here? Obviously, minus some players that have been out with an injury.
Yeah, I felt like that second half of the second game against Parkside, you started to see her in a little better rhythm. She started playing with a little more bounce in her step, a little bit more pace. You know, I felt like some of the first couple games, or first game and a half, she was kind of feeling her way through the offense instead of like just trying to take charge. So it's part of the learning process. New coach, new system, new teammates. You know, I feel like she'd had decent games in those first 3, but we saw in that third game, or that fourth game rather, but the second half, you know, when she plays with that kind of rhythm and she just kind of goes and lets the game flow and kind of happen, she's a very dangerous player.
Obviously, this week, as it is in the GLIAC, back and forth, you're on the road this weekend, taking on Northern Michigan, and obviously another good opponent coming up here on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I think they're coming in with a 3-1 record. They played Parkside and they beat them twice, and they split with Saginaw Valley. It's going to be another completely different style of game. They're a little bit bigger in the post. You know, they like to slow the ball down a little bit more. They like to play a little bit more zone defense, or they played Saginaw a lot of junk defense. Not as much traditional man-to-man like we've seen these first couple weekends. So in that way, it's kind of nice that we're on the football schedule, that we kind of have all week to kind of prepare for that completely different style. And we're going to have to be doing our best job in that game to make the game be the way that we want to make it be played, a little more up and down, a little more free-flowing, and not let them kind of grind it to a halt and just play in the half court.
How difficult is this stretch going to be? Obviously, going to Northern Michigan, then you come back, you go to Lake Superior on Tuesday, and then back at home to face Michigan Tech next weekend.
So it's a tough stretch, and you're looking at, you got to play 5 games in 8 days. You know, that can put a little bit of a strain on your bodies, but also you have to look at it in the context of playing a COVID season. You know, we're happy and we're blessed and we're grateful that we get to play these games. So having a chance to just get out there and play, you don't want to look at the negatives of it. It's like, no, these are opportunities that we get. So we're just going to really try to take it all in stride.
Well, Coach, thanks for being with us, and best of luck this weekend as you travel to Marquette.
Thanks, Rob.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.
What does it mean to be a Bulldog? It means you will be focused. You will be inspired. You will be ready. You will be yourself. Ferris State University. Be a Bulldog. Apply today at ferris.edu.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast, and that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
At Ferris State University, we are where you are. With 24 locations around the state, we offer learning to students from all walks of life. Whether you learn better in an online environment, are working and need to attend evening classes, or have served in the armed forces, we want to work with you to accommodate your education. You're not stuck in one place, and neither is Ferris. Let's move forward together. Go to ferris.edu/statewide to learn more about opportunities available near you.
Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to check in with Bulldog men's basketball, and we're joined by assistant coach Ramon McAfee. Coach, welcome to the show.
Always good to be here, Rob. Good to talk to you.
I know since the last show we had, probably covering men's basketball back in November, lots changed for you guys. You've got your season underway, and How nice was it to be one of those only teams to really get some non-conference games in here before the GLIAC play started?
That's a position we always want to be in. We always want to be one of the teams that do things that a lot of teams or programs will want to do or are able to do. That's something that Coach Bronkema has really instilled in me, and that's something that he's just great at, you know. So doing as much as we can, every chance that we can is, you know, kind of the motto with this COVID season going on, and I think we've been doing a great job at that.
Obviously, you've got the conference season underway here the last couple weeks, and kind of a tale of 2 different days here both weekends. You've lost the Friday game, but came back and really a great performance both Saturdays to get a couple wins.
Yeah, we're just still trying to get used to it and figure that thing out. You know, we got a pretty much a young team. When you think about all the success that we have, a lot of these guys haven't really been here for that. Mike Peterson is probably one of the last ones left, you know, so we're just trying to instill, you know, a lot of things that we weren't able to do in our preseason conditioning and, you know, kink out some attitudes and human nature and things like that. We're still figuring that out, and it's just unfortunate that, you know, on Fridays we're not ready to play, but get hit in the mouth and you come back Saturday ready, that's pretty much what we can ask for, you know, in that time, in the present time, in that weekend.
Obviously, the first weekend you got the split with Ashland, and as we go to the highlights this past weekend on the road at Wisconsin Parkside, both weekends here on the road, and certainly you've got to adjust to playing on the road.
Yep, we do. I mean, it's nothing we're going to run from or afraid of. You know, we got to be ready to play no matter where we are. You know, I've been in the gym with a few guys and telling them do the same thing every single time. You know, just because we're in Wisconsin doesn't mean that our plays change. You know, you shoot the ball the same way. The rim, the goal is the same height. You know, some teams just play harder on certain days, and we have to be that team more often.
So a couple baskets there from Michael Peterson, a senior out of Rockford, and obviously he's off to a good start in terms of his production this year.
Oh, which is no surprise to us. Mike worked his tail off all summer. I mean, he probably had the best COVID summer of anybody in college basketball, and you see it's paying off. So we're going to give Mike that role. We're going to expect that from him every night, and he's just going to have to adjust when he moves up higher in the scouting reports.
How difficult has it been, obviously not maybe playing as many games as you normally would and having some new guys adjust to different roles here, and how has that transition been, I guess, here with you know, some of the changes going on this season?
It's been uncertain. You know, we're adjusting on the fly, and we're only going to be as good as we can do those things. So, I mean, nothing we're going to complain about, nothing to make excuses about. We got to be ready. We got to lock in a little bit more mentally and focus a little bit better and stay focused for longer periods of time. Once we can do those things, I think we'll be in pretty good shape.
Obviously, you've got some experience returning with Walt Kelser and some other guys, but 8 new guys that have already seen action here this year. A lot of new faces here, really getting a taste of college basketball.
Yep. I mean, that's kind of why we wanted to play those games early on, get them as much experience as we can. Usually they would have had about 10 to 12 games heading into conference play. That got cut short. So, you know, we're trying to get these guys, you know, ready to go, and we're taking practice time. It's so precious right now. That's where they really need to, you know, earn their stripes. It won't be in games. It'll be in practices.
Tough loss on Friday, but you come back on Saturday, and maybe what takes place going from Friday night to Saturday as you get ready for the second game against the same opponent?
Honestly, from the last 2 weekends, we changed nothing in our game plans. The guys just play harder. They come, you know, they're a little bit more focused. They have a lot more effort. I mean, they're showing heart, because you lose the first game, you don't want to come out and stink it up the next game. But, you know, as coaches, we're asking them to come off the bus, you know, in that first game ready to go. You know, while we're traveling, we got 6-hour drives, 4-hour drives. You know, you got to be getting yourself ready to go then. You can't take an L and then be ready, you know, and I think they're figuring it out. But like I said, all this is new to everybody, back-to-backs. You know, I think now we're starting to see it a little bit more, and guys should be responding better in the future.
Obviously, you got off to a great start here. That helps here early on, and a number of different players really contributing here in this victory.
Yep, and that's what we expect. I mean, Coach told them all the time, it's your turn now. D'Lo and Cole was the last of the few guys to be a part of that four-peat and things like that, but it's their turn to go and put some shots up. And guys are kind of, you know, hesitant on that role, but as coaches, we're just pushing them towards it.
Obviously, you had the lead here at halftime, and then really got it clicking here in the second half, and led by Walt Kelser, fantastic effort with 39 points here in the game.
I mean, thank God for Walt. Thank God for Walt. I mean, he's done that a number of times even last year, you know, and that's going to be his role. I think that's going to be his basketball career even afterwards. You know, he's going to bail his team out in some situations, you know, just because of his offensive talent, you know. But we understand that we can't rely on Walt. We got a lot of pieces that can go. We just have to keep instilling that belief in these guys. But if Walt gets it rolling like that, we're not going away from him.
How nice is it to have guys that, obviously some of those younger guys that every time they come out, you know, try to get better and better each and every game?
I think Jimmy Scholler has been the poster child for that, just doing exactly what the coaches say every single time he steps on the floor. And that's how we ended up getting his first start. You know, it was not by mistake or accident. Since he stepped foot on campus, he's been doing exactly what we asked him to do, and now it's paying off for him.
You get the win 87-69. Now, finally, you get a chance to play here at home this weekend as you take on Northern Michigan. How nice will it be to be back on your home floor?
Oh, it's always good to be back at home. I mean, like I said, we've been spending countless hours, getting countless reps in Wink Arena. You know, that's where we spend the majority of our time. So, I mean, guys should make a few more shots. Hopefully we don't shoot under 40%. We shot under 40% in all of our losses this year. So I think, you know, being at home, guys will get a little bit more comfortable, settle down just a little bit more. You know, I think it'd be good for everybody.
How much of a challenge is it going into the GLIAC here, where every weekend it seems like you're going to get everybody's best shot, and obviously everybody's shown already here early in the year anyone's capable of winning each and every weekend?
I actually just made that point, but it's always tough. As far as the approach and the toughness of the league, I think that's been the same, you know, no matter COVID year or not. You know, guys are going to be ready to go. Guys want to win championships. You know, it's just that now everybody's dealing with the human nature of the back-to-back. We don't even have an undefeated team in the league right now. So I think, you know, you just got to be ready to go. You got to pay attention. You got to listen a little bit more. You know, court time is getting cut down just a little bit. So your neck up has to kind of be, it has to be A+ every single time, you know, we get in the team setting.
I know they're all important, but how big is this stretch here? Obviously playing 3 straight games at home this weekend, and then on Tuesday against Lake Superior.
Oh, it's 3 of them that we really need. I mean, we wasn't supposed to be at Ashland. We ended up going there, so we split that. So our motto is always win your home games and split on the road. So we got an opportunity to get 3 in a row. Got to take full advantage of it.
Well, Coach, thanks for being with us, and best of luck here this weekend as you take on Northern Michigan.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
A reminder, you can follow all the action of Ferris State Athletics online at ferrisstatebulldogs.com. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great week.